Welcome to selfdiscoveryradio.com, where the orchard of wisdom is just ready for picking. We celebrate your why, the journey that you've taken that inspires someone else. We support your services, we support your story. Come and be our guest, become a host, be an author with us. Come and see what we've got. Our next show is... Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everybody. Welcome back to another show of Raising Our Gifted Children. And we have a gifted child here today, for sure. My name is Sara Troy, the host of the show and selfdiscoveryradiotv.com. And we have Zoom Kid here, the vegan kid who has a vegan statement to make, and a very profound vegan statement, along with his mom, Jillian, and this very, very handsome dude in the middle here. Please do introduce this really gorgeous creature that's stealing the show. What is the name here?
This is Ms. Paisley.
Ms. Lee. And I don't think anybody's going to be looking at you two. They're just going to be looking at this wonderful pooch here right in the middle.
Out.
But this is what it's all about, isn't it? Your passion for animals. And, I love the statement, you were born a vegan, which of course had to be mum's choice, because you made that choice when you were growing up. But maybe from a soul level, but not quite yet from that physical level. But what drives you to being a vegan activist, somebody there that's educating and inspiring people, is your love of animals, isn't it? As we can see very evidently here from the show stealer, right in the middle. Just a gorgeous face, absolutely gorgeous.
Awesome, baby.
So I saw you in Victoria doing your speech, which you did very, very well. And it's wonderful to see such young people stepping up and being the voice. And today we really are seeing kids educating us adults and reminding us about the simple things in life, but also back down to compassion. And that's really your driving force, isn't it, love? Compassion for animals. So why don't you tell us a little bit of really what it means to you to stand up at your age and speak out for the animals?
Well, for my age, I feel like, especially when I'm older, I think I have the more opportunity to speak out for animals that I'm older and I know more. For that, not saying no, but just say I love doing more things for the animals, like doing the Vegetarian Week. That really made my heart happy, because when I was doing it, I was thinking after this is gonna go viral, you know how many people it's gonna get. So I really liked it. It was very fun. There was so much good food, and it was so good for people to listen. And
and of course your basis is the love of animals, and people have in the past, and some still do, look at animals as just purely a commodity. Something that's there to serve man. And we forget that if anything has a heartbeat, it is a life, and it deserves to live. And so the compassion for animals, and for them not to be in pain and not to be our dinner plate, is a driving force for you. Now, a lot of people look at veganism and they go, oh, poof, I'm not going to give up my steak, right? Or a lot of people also look at it and go, well, I won't be healthy. I'll get emaciated. And of course, some of the healthiest people, and I've interviewed vegan athletes who actually became better athletes after becoming vegan. Some of the healthiest people in the world are vegan. So there is a misunderstanding that, going to plant-based foods is actually healthier for you in many ways. And I think that's one of the reasons why you started him on the vegan path in the beginning, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, it was always ethics as to why I wanted to become vegan. But when you look at the biggest mammals on Earth, they're all vegan. So if people eat mammals like a cow, but the cow eats grass. So why, they say take out the middle one and just eat the grass.
We look at these creatures who are mighty, mighty, the biggest creatures in the world, and they're all plant-based creatures. And it's like, so where, you know, I understand that, you know, in the dark ages, you know, growing things, you know, weather-wise wasn't so easy, but we do know better today. And
Yeah,
I think,
exactly.
and I think it's more and more of the education of who we are. As I said, the show stealer.
Probably. He just wants to lie down.
Now, it wants to be right there in the middle of the camera. You're talking about animals, so you're talking about me. So,
What?
um,
When people get, oh,
no,
sorry.
please go ahead.
When people really get to meet animals like cows and pigs and
Mhm.
chickens and see that they're just like their animal that they have at home, that they each have personalities, that they have heart, like you said, they have
Yes.
heartbeats, emotional systems, they have feelings. When you get that interaction and get that feeling, then it's pretty hard to argue the meat eating.
Yes. And of course, again, today we're in a different demographic. You know, there's so many other different type of nutrients that we can supplement with. We're understanding what the plant food base really can do for us, and it's about balance. You know, a lot of people think, well, I can't live on a lettuce leaf, you know. Oh my goodness, my daughter is vegan, about to have a vegan wedding. My son has a restaurant where has vegan food in it. We are always eating vegan food, and it is delicious because
Yeah.
you could be so creative with the dishes. So it's just really, I think, two things. One, I think a connection where people don't understand that animals are life. Their life, just as we don't have right to take our lives, you know, a human life, we really don't have the right to take an animal life. It has a heartbeat, it has a presence, it has a soul, and we don't have that right. That's the ethics side of it. And of course, on the other side of it, no, you do not have to sacrifice your health, your delight of food, your well-being. None of that has to be sacrificed whatsoever. So it's just a question of getting people educated. We don't
Right.
want to dictate to people. It's an invitation, isn't it, to let them know how different it is. How have you found, Mr. Zoom, how have you found the response to you as a kid standing up and saying, you know, I love being a vegan, I love animals? How have you found the response from people?
Well, okay, that's a good question. I see. Well, for the response of veganism, I think a lot of people like get from when they've been vegan for a long time or not. If I like say I speak out more, I think like for non-vegan people, probably they'll go vegan in the future too.
Mm-hmm.
So.
And what have you thought about, like when you were in school, you were talking about what people thought when you said you were vegan?
Well, I've like sometimes probably they might have teased me, and I don't think that's like bad in a way because like that I don't know what I could say, like maybe
It starts a conversation, doesn't it?
Yeah, because I'm older, maybe I can like handle those thoughts easier for me. So like when they say, oh, why are you vegan? Why don't you eat meat? Like I would say, well, I would say, well, I like being vegan. I do not like hurting the animals, and they have emotions and feelings too.
Right.
And they don't have the right to be killed in factory farms.
Yes.
And I think like in say 2025, there'll be a change in the future of veganism, or some kind of like aquarium, zoos, parks, what have animals. There'll be some kind of change in the world. So.
We're seeing that change now, aren't we? Mm-hmm.
And we're really indoctrinated into thinking that it's okay to eat animals.
Yes.
Like I talked about in the book, there's that disconnection. We grow up, you know, we have like hamburgers for dinner, not realizing, okay, that's a cow with feelings.
Yes.
We don't name it that. So I think changing the language around what we're eating is also going to be important in making that change.
I think when people kind of get it that some soul had to die for your dinner, you know, I think you look at your dinner in a different way. You know, right now A&W has come out with a vegan burger, and they can't keep up with the demand. They're literally
Yeah.
selling out, and which just shows you, I mean, it's changing meat eaters everywhere going, I had fish and chips the other day with my daughter and didn't know that it was vegan fish. And this is the thing, is that we allow our perception to get in the way, don't we? And we don't realize that there are so many versatile opportunities there and discoveries. I had a woman on here who, Danielle Vasson, who,
Oh, sorry.
that's okay. Don't touch anything. It's the internet.
Low battery.
And she actually, because of her health, went to veganism. It was a question no doctors could help her anymore. And now she actually goes around interviewing vegan restaurants around North America. She's written books on it, different kinds of cultures of vegan food, and sharing the recipes. And the recipes are fantastic. And that's the thing, is that this veganism isn't boring. It is so versatile. It is so tasty. And today, and you've got Richard Branson, who's now come up with vegan meat, and with that kind of money, that kind of power behind him, you know, we're seeing also less people using leather and going to pleather. There is a leather type product out there right now that is stronger than leather, that looks like leather, it feels like leather. We really don't have the excuse anymore, do we? The thing is, as you said, veganism in 2025 is going to be very, very big. And I think what we're looking at now is a massive shift. And then having somebody, you know, like Zoom speak out about it, and be a young person to stand up by his ethics, by his compassion, you know, by the fact that he's obviously looking very, very healthy on vegan food. There's nothing amazing looking at him there. Plenty of energy. And you're changing people's minds. You're showing people that there is a difference. Because I think a lot of people, just as you said, don't associate the burger with the sacrifice.
Yeah, and you go into a store and it's all prepackaged. It's so removed,
disconnected.
Like
cracked. So
like when I think, like when you guys are talking about A&W, like they have the Beyond Burger, I was thinking, like, if they have the Beyond Burger, it should just all go vegan. Like, in the fact that if there's something vegan on the menu and they have like other non-vegan thing, they should like make everything vegan. Like, it doesn't really suitable for other people. Like, they have like more chicken wings, burgers, and they should have like everything vegan with like vegan fries, vegan hamburgers. Yeah,
they'll get there. The thing is that, you know, you can't expect, you know, the billions of people on the world just to change like that. They're still living on an old paradigm and an old program. And it has to be that inspiration, like yourself, with your book, with your speaking, with your passion, to go out there and and to change people's minds and just show them something that maybe they just didn't connect to. Educating them on it. The fact that A&W has a vegan burger, do any of the other fast chains?
No.
Right?
Not that I know of.
No.
Right. The fact that it's selling out, that the demand is so big, is letting everybody know that veganism is on its rise. And people are wanting it for whatever reason they are wanting it. So suppliers will meet the demand. We've just got to turn the volume up on the demand.
And I think also in educating people, we have to educate people that there's systems at place that allow this to happen that we don't see on a day-to-day basis, because the factory farms are out in the middle of nowhere.
Right.
So we're not seeing animals transported unless you're bearing witness that you can do with different organizations. You don't see all that whole system. So that's been taken from us.
I think you know, we're looking. I don't call it you know, meat farming anymore. It is a manufacturing of animals, and when we look at the lack of humanity, the brutality of it, it's insane. You know, it's inhumane and it's insane. And I think what people have got to remember, if you're killing an animal in pure terror, pure fear, it's going to raise the cortisol in their body, and you're eating that fear. Is there a correlation with society right now that is under more stress than it is even in wartime?
I believe I'm glad you brought that up, because I've always believed that you're ingesting that, that spirit of that animal is in that flesh.
Yes.
So there's something going on there for sure. And yeah, I know even, I think something important to raise too is also the people working in the systems are not necessarily bad people. They are doing it because they're caught up in the system, and they might say, and it's a very brutal system for them to have to do what they do. So
there's a lot of post-traumatic stress amongst those people, actually, and they don't last long in their job, and they, it gets to them, which is good. And the less people going into it, but of course people have got, they put these farms up in low-income places. In places that they need a job to feed their family, because they know if they put it elsewhere where there is anybody who has a choice, they're not going to go there. So we can't turn a blind eye, can we, anymore? Whether you're doing it for your health, which many people have turned to veganism because of the health, because the health benefits are amazing.
The World Health Organization has rated, I think, bacon or one of the meats as a carcinogenic. So lots of studies are pointing towards the plant-based. Even our Canada Food Guide is, do you know about the revisions that they're taking? They're hoping to take.
No, please tell us.
Yeah, they're hoping to take the whole dairy category out of, our
exactly. Yes. Yes.
So there's a lot of backlash, of course, from animal agriculture.
Of course.
Yeah, that's an interesting topic as well.
Well, this is the thing. The more you're willing to talk about it, and of course, Mum, you're obviously, a huge advocate here, and your boy here is, taken up the mantle and got out there and speaking and interviewing people and a book coming out and everything else. It's the more we talk about it, the more we educate. When veganism kind of really came onto the forefront, I would say around 20 years ago, it was a scare tactic. It was an in-your-face, you were, you are the evil one. And I think it's changed so much now to being more educating people and inspiring and inviting, because you're never going to get anyone to change with the pitchfork. It is about raising their own heart awareness, isn't it? So that they step into compassion. How can you compassionately go and order that burger once you know the story of how that burger got there?
And when you find out, when you see what's happening face to face, the horror, it's almost unfathomable and unable to speak about. And I think that's also a barrier to why people don't go vegan, because you're going to have to confront a part of yourself, right?
Yes.
And what was I going to say? Oh boy, lost it.
It's your inner consciousness.
Yeah.
It's again, if you're brought up in a certain way, which of course I was, you disassociated. Of course, in my time period, there wasn't the big manufacturing plants. It was humanely done on a farm, even though still killing animals, but it was a different process. And today, what we're looking at is the demand for people. It's almost become gluttonous. And the gluttony is causing us, and wasteful, we have become so wasteful. McDonald's, if they don't sell so many burgers by a certain time, they throw them out. They don't even give them, to the people on the street. They throw them out. And you think, boy, is that wrong on so many levels. But if you have a plant-based food, you don't need to worry about throwing it out. It's not going to go off like meat is going to go off. It's going to have a longer life shelf. It's going to be more durable. It's just a question of educating people. I had a guy, Gene from the Farm Sanctuary on, and we were talking about the amount of water that it takes for beef manufacturing, the methane that comes out because of the gases, and also that the grain that it takes to feed them would actually feed all of the children in Africa. And one of the questions I brought up, which I know people will ask, is, well, what do we do with all of these animals if you don't eat them? We stop manufacturing them. We start treating them as, you know, the farm animals, as pets, as creatures that are a part of us, right? And that's, we look at them in a totally different way. And as you said, when you look at a cow face to face, there's the great guy that's out there playing the piano with all the car, you know, coming along, and somebody playing the violin, bringing the music in, and the cow's loving it. And, you know, we forget they have a consciousness, you know. This little one right there, the little white beauty there, has a consciousness.
I think I remembered my point. We brought up the beginning of veganism and how it was in your face and everything. And I think when you first turn vegan, or you first find out the horrors, like if you watch Earthlings or something and you see all of that, or Dominion, you're going to be angry because it's unbelievable. But so in my book, we also talk about how to turn that anger into...
Oh, I lost you, sweetie. Your video? There we go.
It looks like it's going down the battery.
Right.
So 5% battery left.
Okay.
Here we go again. Lost it. How to turn that anger into nonviolent communication? Like you said, you can't judge somebody for eating meat. You have to reach them on the level that they're at, and remember that you were there at some point. Oh
yes, exactly.
Animals, so.
Yes. It's not a blasting people, it's inspiring people. And that's what you're doing, Zoom, isn't it? You're out there inspiring people and showing people that, you know, it's not a judgment call. It's an invitation to know more.
And when are you speaking next?
No, before I say that. I'm gonna be speaking next at Carolina Veg Fest on the September 27th.
Right.
So that's gonna be some party.
Yes.
So, and when I think about like factory farms, I think I made this quote. I don't know. I don't know what it's called. No, it's not a quote, but like if some kid walked into like a pig factory farm and they saw what was going on, they would they would want to go vegan. Like it's that kind of way, you know?
Yeah.
Like everyone in the world doesn't have to eat animals. There's like probably, I don't know, 27 million non-vegan people in the world, and probably like, I don't know, 7 million people.
I don't know the stats.
I don't know.
Well, you have many cultures, you know, like India or Thailand or anything that are very low eating meat people, and they've lived on the grains and on the beans and the seeds and everything else. And so all we have to do is just be willing to open up our minds to the options, right? Mm-hmm. So before your battery goes flat, so why don't you tell us about the book?
The book.
Okay, well, he's got my first book in his hand.
Okay, and that is?
This is my first book. Can you see?
Yes, I can. Yes. The Great Seal Pup.
Yeah. Called King Zoom the Great Seal Pup Rescue.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like
tell her what it's about.
Well, my cousins and me were going to the beach one day to have a picnic because the next day they were leaving. So we ran like a picnic, and my mom was just looking around. Then she saw like a seal pup, like this one here.
Yeah.
And it was on the rocks, and it looks like it was dead, but it wasn't dead. So we packed everything up. You put it in the bag, and we took it to
we made some calls first.
We made some calls first, yeah. Then we took it to some place in Nanaimo, Parkville, and BC, and we took it to like a emergency doctor's seal pup place.
It ended up going to Island Wildlife Natural Care Center on Salt Spring Island, where they rescue over 100 seals a year.
Wonderful.
So it turned into a book.
Oh,
that was the first book.
The first book.
So 3 years later,
it was like more like
well, wonderful drawings and wonderful color. That's certainly invitational right there. Yeah. Exactly. Wonderful. Lovely.
Yeah. It was really fun to see all the cool colors and
Yes. And color has a great psychological effect on people.
Yeah.
So it's again a double invitation, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
And the second book came about?
Yeah, the second book, I decided, I've actually got a few books on the go, but I decided to focus because he's doing so much activism.
Yes.
And we homeschool as well. And I had been documenting all the stuff that he does. And I thought, we got to put this into a book.
Mm-hmm.
So I started writing a series on animal exploitation through his eyes and his experiences. And it's going to be about 6 or 7 books on each area: animals in laboratories, animals for clothing, animals for food, which is the one that's published October 2nd is the release date, but you can pre-order on Amazon, and I'm hoping it will arrive today. It's stuck in customs, so
right.
I've got a few hard copies. As soon as I get one, I'll send one right to you.
Oh, wonderful. Excellent. And so people are able to pre-order it on Amazon, and we'll have that link here on the posting as well. And, this is, if you want to start introducing this to people, it's a simple, great gift to hand to people. We don't respond to in your face, but we do respond to somebody sharing a passion, of compassion. Mm-hmm. What you're trying to do is ignite someone's heart. Mm-hmm. When you ignite the heart, you're igniting the consciousness. Then comes the awareness, and with that awareness comes the action. And that's the invitation that you're doing here is educating people to that. Let them come to their own conclusion, because once you force people, they're going to go the opposite way and retaliate. It has to
be that balance.
Yeah, exactly. And like me, as a disclaimer right at the phone, I'm a 90% there, not quite 100%. I still like my cream cheese, although yes, vegan cream cheese is really great. I'm slowly discovering the vegan foods and the different choices that are happening. And so, that's the thing is if we say to people, go 90% and you're still on the fence with the 10%, that 10% will wither away as time goes. And do it for whatever reason. It could be for your health. It could be for a moral consciousness. It could be out of compassion. It could be a political statement. But A&W's burger is selling out and being one of the most popular items is already a statement saying to people that this is what people want. This is what people want. So the thing is, we just got to keep out there and keep telling people and keep sharing people as to why. And I'm glad you're doing the books individually on the different sources, because you're not doing it in a scare tactic, but you are doing it in an awareness awakening.
Yes, and it was like a balance to find that gentle way of putting it out in a book, not to scare people, but to show the facts, which is scary.
Yes.
So I've had quite a couple of good reviews now that are on my website that kind of remind me that it comes across as gentle. So that's good.
Right. Well, that's the point, is gentle does it. And the thing is, by Zoom getting out there as a kid, he's inspiring other kids. He's also educating, you're inspiring people, and you're inspiring people because our children today are in a totally different consciousness. They're in a totally different way they view life, and they have in so many ways become our teachers, our reminders of what really is important, back to our empathy, back to our connection to soul and to heart. And so
and our culture right now encourages questioning, which I grew up to do what you're told and question. So now that kind of energy where you're allowed to question things, I think, is fueling veganism.
Right.
And also, I just wanted to point out that I wrote the book, the series 2, also to kind of take the hard edge off the word activist, because that's been such a word. You hear activist, you think of you think of what we thought of in the 70s. So activist is, I want to see it through his eyes, an activist, and that it's okay to be an activist and stand up for what you believe in.
Actionism.
Actionist. And I think like we're not gonna stop. You know, like
No.
my word. What I think it's on my visit card. Zero stop. But I don't know.
Nope, you stand into what you believe in, and that's evident there. And see, that's the inspiration. When people are inspired by your belief in why you're doing it, what you're doing it for, and how you're doing it, that actually then becomes what people get inspired by. And that's what helps them change the way. This is the thing. Yes, we would love the whole world to be veganism, and that is going to come, but it may take a few decades to finally get complete there, or some catastrophic something happening along the way that changes the way, which also could happen. But I think what we're seeing right now across the world is a wave of conscious awakening, and that conscious awakening is on igniting our heart, which ignites our conscience, which ignites our action. And it then has people like yourselves already out there at the head of the forefront, inviting people. So I thank you both for doing the work that you're doing.
Thank you so much, Sara, and thank you for asking us to be on after you saw us talk. That was really nice. That was really appreciate it.
Very.
We appreciate the work that you're doing, the passion and the compassion and everything behind it. And you know, I want you back, Gillian, on to talk in more depth about the books and more into that. But I'm so glad you are doing these books in a friendly way, and even the first book, so colorful, so bright, psychologically it sets people in the right way. You're inspiring people, you're connecting people to heart. That's what you're doing is right. You know, you're just igniting hearts.
And so are you, by inviting everybody to be on your show and having this platform. So thank you.
Love, like, well.
It's all about love. Everything's about love. Yeah.
And so.
Now, how do they find you? We know we're going to be speaking it. You've got a TED Talk coming up. What's your site? How do people find you?
You can go to www.kingsdoomthevegankid.com. You can find me on YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook. And when am I doing the TED Talk again?
We're working on it. It's a progress. It's a work in progress. Yeah.
But the Capilano Veg Fest, it's going to be coming on the 27th
of September.
And are you?
And that's in North Van?
Yes.
In North Vancouver, right? In BC, right?
And we're going to be going on tour, a speaking book signing tour.
Oh, excellent.
When I actually get the hard copies of the book.
Right. Excellent. So please look out for that, folks, because he's an inspiring young man, and we have a very dedicated, loving mum, and you're a team. You're a team out there, and a team, exactly. You're going to get Pooch in there too, and
one question. Do you guys have like an Instagram Self-Discovery Radio TV?
It's not an Instagram yet. No, just because Instagram, you can't do things from the computer. You have to do everything on the phone. But we are on YouTube, and we are on Google.
You have Facebook though, right?
Oh yes, we're Self-Discovery Radio.
I'll do a live video on Facebook if I can.
Yeah. There we go. There's that beauty.
So bye, thank you so much. I really appreciate everything from the Vegetoria conference. I'm very grateful.
I'm very grateful for your movement. And Mum, what's your site?
It's JillianMeganWalters.com.
Excellent. So we're going to keep you're going to be coming back and sharing with us, and both of your links will be up here for everybody. And just keep on rocking it, keep on speaking it. You know, the passion invites. It really does. When the passion comes from compassion, it resonates out to people, and whether it's the first time, second time, third time, it ignites a spark in them. And it's all about changing that consciousness, and the more that we complete nurturing it, the more it has a chance to change direction. Yes. So that's all we can do, is educate people as to why. And your platform is animals, right? Animals, do
Yeah.
not hurt those beautiful babies, right?
Yeah.
Because
Thank you.
they're
Thank you so
someone's
much.
kid.
Yeah, exactly.
It's
Yes.
veganism. Veganism is veganism.
Yeah.
And some people say, well, I don't like veganism, but whatever. We say we like it. They say
And
no.
the reason they say that is because they don't know the options.
Don't have a
And when you
mind.
and when you know the options, when you know what else is out there, you know, to make that transition, and the more and more now today, the supermarkets carrying vegan food, and of course you can demand, you can say, I shop here, I want more vegan type food. Oh, lost you again. Hopefully we didn't lose you completely, but if we did, that's okay, folks. They're doing great work here, and they really are setting up an education and an inspiration on why to become vegan. And you know, whether you do it one step at a time or take a full leap, it doesn't matter. Just start shifting your perspective, maybe having a few more vegetarians or vegan meals through the week, less meat, and slowly, gradually educating yourself and weaning you off and understanding the consciousness behind it all. So until next time, folks, bye for now. For more wonderful shows like this, please go to selfdiscoveryradio.com, podcasts, and see our lineup. And if you wish to support us, we have a funded button. Please stay tuned for our next show.